Let's be honest, most car manufacturers don't build their sports cars to be durable or practical. In fact, most of them are far more dangerous than your average everyday car. As a result, when you shop for a sports car, there are many types that you should avoid at all costs. This is especially true if you want to have a pleasant driving experience, not to mention the huge repair and maintenance bills and other disappointments that come along with owning a desirable yet extremely unreliable, fatally flawed sports car. One way to shorten your list of options is to understand which sports cars to avoid. Luckily for you, you clicked on this video because today you're going to learn about the 10 deadliest sports cars of all time. First on the list, we have the Mazda RX-8. Debuted in 2003, the Mazda RX-8 is a sports car that re-established the famous rotary engine. That alone wasn't enough to excite enthusiasts worldwide, and a sleek design helped the hype. The RX-8 was famous for its distinctive rear suicide doors, and the engine had upwards up to 200 horsepower, despite its pint-sized displacement. But the main feature of the RX-8 is also its biggest issue. With the youngest models approaching 10 years of age, the 1.3-liter rotary engine has a nasty habit of failing. Its fatal flaw stems from abnormal rotor wear, causing an air-fuel mixture to leak between the combustion chambers, which lowers the compression and the lifespan of the engine. With inadequate maintenance, the RX-8 is a car that some drivers won't enjoy, because sooner or later there'll be issues like a blown engine and an expensive bill. Up next, we have the Audi TT. The Audi TT had a lot of problems when it was first released. For starters, TTs were plagued by snap oversteer problems. After entering a high-speed corner and letting off the throttle, the car would slide out of control. This problem was so bad that Audi recalled the model for suspension readjustment and a new rear spoiler for more downforce. But that wasn't the end of the TT's issues. The V6 had timing chain problems that could destroy the motor, and the dual clutch transmission's computer was prone to failure. Up next, we have Porsche 911s with M96 engines. With prices of the classic 911 skyrocketing in the last few years, the choice of an affordable 911 comes down to one model, the Porsche 997, and for good reason. Built from 2004 to 2012, most Porsche enthusiasts avoid this model due to the fact that it shares the front end with the inferior Boxer. Although the 997 was a well-built sports car with respectable performance, even German engineering comes with its occasional flaws. And in this case, that's the M96 flat 6 engine, with a faulty intermediate shift bearing that can lead to permanent engine damage and costly repair bills. Judging by the official data, around 10% of the 2000 through 2005 M96 engines suffered from this issue, while the later engines also broke down as well. This fatal flaw is expensive to repair, most time leaving you with only one possibility: removing and disassembling the entire engine. Up next, we have the C6 Corvette. The Corvette has always been the gold standard among American sports cars. It has the winning combination of great looks, brutal power, and world-class handling. For people shopping for a used Corvette, the C6 is a tempting choice. With 400 horsepower, a sleek body, and superb performance, some would dare call it the perfect sports car. Or perhaps not. The problem with the C6 is its defective power steering hose. This defective hose would not only result in power steering failure, but it could also result in the loss of power brake assist, causing increased braking effort or total brake failure. Not to mention the leaking fluid from the defective hose could also spray onto the Corvette's burning hot V8 engine, resulting in an engine fire and fatal explosion. Up next, we have the Lamborghini Gallardo. When the Gallardo was introduced in 2003, it was embraced for its sharp lines, aggressive stance, and high performance, and the prices are affordable, considering it's a Lamborghini. However, it should be avoided at all costs. For starters, it's common knowledge that after an hour in the driving seat, you'll be in desperate need of a chiropractor. Not to mention, visibility is almost non-existent. Furthermore, buying this car with an e-gear transmission is a mistake of epic proportions. With a staggering 80% failure rate, the Gallardo's e-gear has a notorious clutch eating habit, poor engagement times, and cost a whopping $20,000 to repair. Transmission failure at high speeds often results in a fatal accident. Up next, we have the Ferrari 355. Would you like to own a Ferrari for Lexus money? Well, you can if you buy a 355. Introduced in the mid-90s, this car can be purchased for the price of a new well-equipped midsize SUV. However, the cost does not mean you should buy this car. First are the exhaust manifolds, which can crack, costing you a cool $5,000. But even if you replace them, there's still a 99.9% chance that your engine will fail, leaving you with a $25,000 bill to replace it. Second, the valve guides are prone to failure, with a whopping 20% failure rate. As you can expect, the price of sorting out this problem is astronomical, approximately $6,000. Also, every 3 to 5 years, 355 owners are required to do a regular belt change and full service. This includes pulling the engine out of the car and several days of expensive labor, costing you only $10,000. Up next, we have the Nissan 370Z. While the Nissan 3 350Z had a good reputation, its successor, the 370Z, was notoriously troublesome. Equipped with a 3.7-liter V6 with more than 300 horsepower transmitted to the rear wheels, the 370Z seemed like a great performer. Instead, it had numerous fatal flaws. The early 2009 and 2010 models suffered from a faulty steering lock column that left countless drivers stranded. Luckily, Nissan recalled some of the faulty models, but there are plenty on the road that didn't get fixed. Up next, we have the Mercedes-Benz SL600. Introduced in 2001, the Mercedes SL Roadster was the epitome of a German GT car. It was powered by various V6s, several V8 engines, and a 5.5-liter V12 in the SL600 version. The car also looks great and has the performance to match, and to top it all off, it's even well built. Well, sort of. The 500 horsepower engine offered ultimate performance, but it also proved to be less reliable than other motors in the lineup, excluding the AMG engines. Regular maintenance costs for the V12 version can be astronomically expensive, and when that's paired with the belief that a Mercedes-Benz is indestructible, it can lead to millions of potential problems. It would be wise to avoid the most powerful non-AMG engine in the SL. Up next, we have the Mitsubishi Eclipse. The last generation of Mitsubishi's affordable sports model, the Eclipse was a popular choice among the JDM crowd. In most cases, this was a decent sports car by all means. Despite being a front-wheel drive car, it still provided a fair amount of performance and driving dynamics. However, its automatic transmission has major problems. The wave cushion spring, which is a small inexpensive part, could snap and penetrate the oil transmission pump, causing the gearbox to leak oil, resulting in transmission failure and leaving drivers stranded. Oil leakage often resulted in engine fires and sometimes explosions. Up next, we have the Pontiac Solstice. It took almost a decade before GM finally recalled 1.6 million vehicles for a defective ignition switch back in 2014. Part of that recall was the Pontiac Solstice. A faulty ignition switch could have been pulled out of its socket by a heavy keychain. This led to some serious safety hazards like disabled airbags and loss of power to electrical systems. In other words, your car can quickly become a death box prone to all matters of accidents. The ignition switch often failed during an accident as well. GM's faulty ignition switch found in the Pontiac Solstice has led to 13 documented deaths over the years. Needless to say, airbags and electrical safety systems would have come in handy had they worked in those situations. Well guys, those are the 10 deadliest sports cars of all time. If you want to learn about the 10 deadliest trucks of all time, click on this video here. I'm Jeff from Modern Muscle, and I'll see ya next time.